Welcome to the All Things Rugby show, where this week you're going to see me cry continuously over the last 4 weeks of pain I've had being an England supporter, hence why we've joined the dark side and we're in our French jersey. As always, my name is Shanair and I am joined by Mr. David Ford. Dave, how are we, sir?
Bonjour tout le monde. Vive la France.
Yeah, something like that. What a weekend. So on today's episode of the show, we are obviously going to break down everything that happened in the last round of the Six Nations. We're going to do a little bit of a recap of the whole tournament as a whole and what a tournament it has been. Lots of other rugby to get through as well. Super Rugby, massive upsets in the Rugby Europe Championship. And then later on, we're going to have a little bit of trivia and some fun as well. Dave, that was a weekend.
Best Six Nations in history?
Not as an English fan. Hey, listen, with a neutral head and with the amount of opportunity to write and make some socials, yeah, look, it was incredible, right? Like, I think if you would have said at the beginning of the Six Nations, albeit we did think it might be the last game.
Yeah.
The last kick of the last game after 6 weeks. I mean, that's pretty special.
Stone Cold Thomas Ramos.
Oh, unbelievable.
My God, that guy has ice in his veins, doesn't he? Yeah, it was, look, as far as the Super Saturday goes, recency bias obviously is a real thing, but every game delivered beyond expectation. As a Welsh fan, obviously my smile's a bit wider this weekend, but it was, the whole tournament was amazing. I can't remember a more dramatic, a more sort of emotionally turbulent tournament. And yeah, I thought for it to go to the last kick and the last game, it was, pretty spectacular.
Do you know what I would love to see, though? Do you know how, like, when they were doing the Lions call out of who gets picked and stuff, they had the camera set up at homes? I'd love to be in that wherever island we're watching it, because they would have been a few Guinnesses deep by this point, right?
There was one in a Welsh pub somewhere deep in the valleys, and it was just, 50 Wales fans in a Welsh pub watching the last kick, and they might as well have been French. They went bananas when England lost, which I'm not in support of. But I was impressed by England, but France, when you know how to win, you know how to win, and they came through. But yeah, where do you want to start? Do you want to start at the beginning? Ireland, Scotland, your perceived game of the tournament.
I just want to cry about it all, man. But like, look, let's get into the breakdown.
Right.
Let's start with game number one of the weekends. Albeit for me, it was like I woke up and watched Super Rugby, then I watched Stormers Bulls, and so this was like game 4 or 5. But game one of Six Nations on Saturday, right. We obviously had what I tipped to be game of the whole tournament.
Yeah.
And in the first 20 minutes,
it delivered.
It looked like it could have been. So Ireland, Scotland.
Yeah, I think Ireland, they came out of the blocks firing. And I thought my general feeling about Scotland is if they don't start well, they just fall apart. But that sort of 10 minutes to 30 minutes of Scottish rugby, their first 2 tries, that was, if you were going to show textbook, phase play, players doing their jobs, Scotland looked like world beaters.
Against the team that was known for phase play.
Yeah. It was super impressive. That was such an amazing first half to watch. But I think the one thing it did expose was that if Finn isn't going well, Scotland aren't going well. And they had a few moments of that. Those 2 tries, he was pulling the strings. But then, there was a few sort of sketchy kicks and a few sort of, I guess the pressure in defense kind of threw them off a bit. We said it in the first episode that the amount of rugby that goes through the center channels now at international level is significant. And that's where a lot of games are won and lost. And I thought the McCluskey-Tui Pollock battle was probably the defining battle of the game. But McCluskey, if you're a Six Nations historian, this was McCluskey's Six Nations for Ireland.
Oh, totally. Like, he's definitely going to be in the shout for player of the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we'll get to LBB, but man, McCluskey, and Faz said it afterwards, it was like, in all the years that McCluskey's been going well at club, right, to play 5 games in a row for Ireland, that's a shout anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like, you think like Henshaw, Ringrose, Bundy was kind of always on rotation anyway, right? And you're sitting there going, nah, fair play. Like, you'd put his name down one of the first on the sheet.
Yeah.
I think Crowley, again, like, I think Crowley settled any. I mean, we haven't seen Sam Prendergast other than a
No.
video of him getting his
In the
mullet
barbers.
cut like the other day. But yeah, look, Crowley looked good. But look, what I would say about Finn, that first try was 19 odd phases, right?
Yeah.
Now, as the magician and the maverick that is Finn Russell, for him to have the patience to go, we'll go left, we'll go right, we'll go left, and then to score in the court, fair play. Like that is a. And there was one moment when the ref moved him a little bit for the conversion, and he just kept his cool and he slotted up. And you're like, like, but there's only one real player to talk about in that whole match for me, Ty Burn.
Ugh.
Like,
he's a cheat code. He is
unbelievable.
Yeah, no, he is. He's unplayable at times. He's such a big guy, such a long guy as well. But he manages to fold himself over those balls. And look,
and legally this time.
Yeah. He was, and at one point, I think he was in the blood bin for a bit and he came back out 2 minutes later, got a turnover. Yeah, for Scotland, you probably tried to get him out of the game and that momentum swing that he provides in such key moments is priceless at international level. But I think we've just become so accustomed to him doing it now that we forget how spectacular it is.
Do you know what I would say though, right? And I'm very critical of Ireland on the best of times, right? Let alone the Leinster boys. I don't think him and James Ryan on the same team at the same time helps them because they're both quite similar with like potentially an at the side, potentially a little bit of niggle on the floor. James Ryan obviously weren't available. He plays second row with McCarthy. And I mean, McCarthy he's still young.
He is a freak of nature.
Man, like them two together is dangerous. And like, look, you're forgetting at the beginning of the tournament, we were saying about like, is that side settled? Is there a little bit of transition? Back three wise, obviously Balakoon won rising player of the competition at the age of 28.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But no Keenan, no James Lowe for most of it. No Andrew Porter. That's a fair chunk of starting already that you're like, they've come in. Tom O'Toole played well. I mean, their scrum's probably something that the box are still looking at going, we'll have them there. But
no, I think the funny thing is with international rugby, and I've said it forever, is that it's really about balance and being able to create balance in every position. And if you look at, Josh van der Fleer coming back into the starting 15, he gets through so much work. He's a dog and he gets through so much work defensively and in sort of link play. He allows Caelan Doris to do his thing as that ball carrying number 8. You can kind of just forget about it because he's going to make 20, 25 tackles. They're going to be dominant tackles. He's going to slow the ball down. And you think the amount of times that someone like Byrne gets over the ball is because there's someone like him tackling people by their toenails.
Josh van der Fleer didn't miss a tackle the whole competition.
He's another person that is he's so good, and we're so used to him being good that we don't give him enough credit for being how good he is.
Yeah.
It's a wild one. But I thought the biggest shock for me is that Gary Ringrose, who I'm a huge fan of, and I know there's a stat that nobody missed more tackles this Six Nations than Gary Ringrose, but McCloskey was so dominant in his role that I guess Ringrose was clearing out more than he was link playing all tournament because you didn't really see the Irish 13 the whole tournament. And it was almost like McCloskey would bang and they'd go around the corner. And really, kudos to Scotland. They've come, again, they didn't deliver in Dublin, but they've been so entertaining. And if I was a neutral fan, if I was a Southern Hemisphere rugby fan, Scotland and Italy are good teams to support because they play such a sexy style of rugby. But I think the whole game was summed up in the last play of the game. Tui Pilotu caught one in the face. McCloskey snatched up the crumbs, basketball pass over like that sequence. And Tui Pilotu's been fantastic all tournament as well. But that sequence, that really captured the whole game for me. And, shout out to Faz. Is that 6 years now he hasn't lost at home in the Six Nations?
Third Triple Crown in a row.
I mean, I'll come on to it a bit later, but, I've always been a big critic of coaches and the amount of credit they get. But I think this weekend was a big one for coaches. And I think their game plan as Ireland really came through. And obviously the players got to play, but got to give Faz a tip of the cap.
Yeah, look, I think how funny though, right? You get to week 1 and it's like Faz has just done Lions. He obviously missed last year's Six Nations. Is he really into it? Is there a little bit of looking at that England job after the next World Cup?
Or Saris.
Although Sarri's, we don't know where the money went, but they denied it.
Yeah, true.
Getting myself in more trouble with Saracens early on. But then, look at Gregor, for example. Week 1, get rid of him. He's fired. Week 4, oh my God, another Calcutta. He's doing great. Beat France.
Yeah.
Confidently as well. And then, a little bit of a kind of a flat afterwards. But, I think, we'll talk about coaches at the end and kind of we'll look at where we think they've been for this Six Nations. But Faz knows how to get the best out of this team at the moment, right? And I think the funny thing is, there was a lot of talk about blood in players. Jamie Osborne, for me, unsung hero. He's we talk about Finn being out the back of the pod. Man, Jamie Osborne, if you watch him off the ball, looks exactly the same running lines as Ramos.
Yeah.
He's like the second playmaker.
He pops up in the right place all the time.
Man, his off the ball meters must be, nearly 15, 16K a match because he's just out the back of the next one continuously. He was great.
Yeah.
Balakoon, what a find. I put it down earlier, right? So he played against USA in 2021. That was his island cap, right?
Yeah.
Then didn't play the rest of the season. Next year he played 1 game against Argentina. The next year he played 2 games, 1 against SA, 1 against Fiji. Then he was injured.
Yeah.
So just kind of nothing. But then this year for Ulster so far, including the Ireland lot, 11 tries in 12 games this season.
That's not bad.
James Lowe's not getting back in that. Tommy O'Brien came back in, right? There's another one. There's another O'Brien who plays at Leinster. Keenan probably come back into that back 3. Stockdale put his hand up enough to go, don't forget about me. So now all of a sudden, you've gone from losing your 3 starting back 3 players to now actually, there's 6, 7, 8 going into the next World Cup squad almost.
But I think it's horses for courses, right? The beauty of building that sort of depth is that you can pick your squad based on the opposition as opposed to, the opposition knowing who you're going to pick on a Monday. So James Lowe will have a place in a match day
against
23.
England.
Against England, yeah. No, I think it's as always, being Welsh, I'm jealous of the sort of embarrassment of riches these guys have. But ultimately, Scotland still couldn't get it done. It was your call for game of the tournament. I thought Scotland were going to come last, so it shows what we know. I thought they were a surprise pack. The France game will go down in sort of Scottish folklore as a amazing game. But that Irish hoodoo, especially in Dublin.
Well, so this is the other thing, right? We were critical of Scotland, and I've always said it, right? Playing these tier 2 and tier 3 nations, doing the world a favour almost, right? And giving everyone game time. But you lose that, how do we win the moments, right? And then you think, right, this year, I said about Glasgow going well, they'll go far in Europe. So now you're talking about big European knockout games. Scotland, and again, we'll talk about the Nation Championship, now have to play bigger teams more often. That's good for them, right? And it wasn't only a couple of months ago, World Cup draw. England are going, we got the easy side of the draw. And now they're probably sitting there going, we might be screwed here. Look, Scotland, the Ireland thing's an interesting one. Obviously, I think they've got each other again in the World Cup, right?
Right.
So if they can just break that hoodoo between now and the World Cup, Scotland match up against teams very well, right? Except Ireland's, apparently. They've just beaten France.
Yep.
They go toe-to-toe physically with South Africa. They are the team that actually match South Africa's physicality when they play them. And now you're going to get some great experience. And look, remember, this weekend, they had their 3rd and 4th choice locks playing as well.
That was my next point. I think, again, I don't want to dwell too much on the Scotland-Ireland game, but obviously I'm biased as well. Second row is the most undervalued position from a fan, from a sofa fan, from a casual. The amount of impact that, if you have a good front row, they get all the credit at scrum and line-out time. If you have a good back row, you get all the credit for momentum shifting, tackles and turnovers. But when they had Cummings and Gilchrist and these guys, the amount of demolition work they go through, the amount of ruck ball, they stop the opposition from slowing down. They are such industrious players. And I think Scotland lost the physicality battle without them there. And they had some great impetus off the bench. The hooker that came on, Ashman, at one point, I think he carried 5 out of 7 carries in the same phases. But that was you compare it to the Irish Locks.
Yeah, well, that's it.
That was the game, but an amazing way to start the day. And I thought, I actually thought the Wales game was going to be a bit of a dead duck on the back of that. But alas,
right.
It was not.
I'm gonna let you start with this one because, I mean, even by half time, I was texting you going, "What are we watching? Where did that come from?"
Yeah, look, the one thing, and again, double bias being a Wales and Dragons fan. This tournament has been sort of Aaron Wainwright's launch pad.
I don't want to hear anyone tell me about Faletau ever again.
I know. Well, Faletau had his time. Faletau was
agreed,
a legend.
But no more.
No, I agree.
More.
But Wayno had a bit of a problem where when Pivac came in, he didn't think he was a 6 or an 8. And then, Gats really got behind him as a 6. And then when Gats came back, he said, "No, you're an 8." And then the club got him at 8. But we see it every weekend for the Dragons. He is 50% of our team. He is a 8, 9 out of 10 every single game for us. And he just, I don't know, maybe it's the sentimentality of me. It just means so much to him. And you see when he scores that try, that was somebody letting the pressure out of the pressure cooker there. You saw just the explosion, even from the crowd. And the way that he ran it in, he was running through Canone there at full gun. And Eddie James hit like a Jamie Roberts-esque line. And this is what we've been crying out for since the beginning of the tournament was, how do Wales play? Really, you can't have Dan Edwards and Sam Costello playing without a target man outside them. And Eddie James just went, "That's me."
Yeah.
And he banged it in. And then Wayno has hit that line 50 times this tournament. But when he went over and the release in those players.
It's funny because I said it outside, right? It's very similar to the week before against Ireland when he just ran it from the back fence, right? He runs that line, and I don't really think he even thinks about an outcome. He's just like, first job is I'm going to run this fucking ball as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Man, he's run it at Canone, who has been you said last week, right? Sitting there in your Italian shirt, man for man.
Been class.
They've all been class, right? Especially the whole Italian pack have been class. Oh my God. I don't know if they partied too hard after England, or I don't know if just emotionally. And again, this is where we'll go after when we kind of recap the whole tournament. As much as having one fallow week is good for a fan, there was so many points scored, and there has to be that element of fatigue, that getting yourself up for 5 games, emotionally, physically, not massive turnarounds, like not massive rotation either, because it was so competitive other than England. It was, what happened to Italy?
Look, I think, I don't want to make it too much about Italy, because I thought Italy, at times, they looked like the Italy that played against England and played against Scotland in the wet.
I think they had enough chance, especially the last 20 minutes. Oh my God, they had chances.
Look, I think the difference being, and this is a tip of the hat to Steve Tandy, what's happened from week 1 to week 4 is that, or week 5, sorry, is that there is a different level of belief. People will bounce out. People will let people do their jobs. There's no one's covering up for people's mistakes. And I think even bringing in Ben Carter into the second row has freed up our back row to do it through more work. Both of them, I think, has been a bit of a revelation. He's old news as far as Wales is concerned. He's been around the system for a while, but he's been amazing as well. And I think that first 15, 20 minutes, there was just a belief. They ran it. I haven't seen Eddie James run that hard into contact since the beginning. That comes from belief. Wayno's been running that line all the time, but you've got that you haven't got to get up and get back because there's another forward there that will do the job. And it was so encouraging as a fan to be like, these boys actually, they believe that they should be winning this game.
Man, I think the moment that summed it up, you want to talk about belief, any fly half, right, that from a goal line dropout just goes, don't worry about this one, lads. Oh my God, Dan Edwards hit that ball so clean.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the Finn Smith one, right? But like that confidence, if you were going to rank the 10s in the Six Nations, he'd probably be the last one.
Yeah.
But the confidence of him to just go.
Look, I think it comes down to a system. And I said this at the beginning. You can't have Dan Edwards and Sam Costello playing if Ben Thomas is playing 10 and a half outside them at 12. And we didn't really have that point runner, which every team kind of had apart from us. But we had these big we said this in week 2. We had these big physical guys. Even Joe Hawkins. Joe Hawkins has decided now, actually, when I have to go, I can go. Yeah. And there'll be people around the corner. And I think that everybody seemed to know their job, whereas in the past, Dan Edwards perhaps has been caught behind the gain line because he looks up and there's another 10 outside him who also isn't running it in. And, or we had a second row who wasn't really athletic, that wasn't really carrying it. Daf Jenkins is in the first phase. So who do I even look to?
Yeah.
Alex Mann has been incredible as far as his volume of work, but he's not a ball carrying 6. So you imagine that second pod coming around the corner was Beard and Mann or Ben Thomas out the back. Fuck, I mean, we were optionless, but the one tip of the cap I'll say for Wales, away from the attack, was that the defensive coaching was so... Italy are amazing at getting back in shape, and they go out the back, and Garbisi would pull strings to get you outside 13. Thomas Williams was obviously, and Josh Adams were told, I want you to blitz in that 13-14 channel and don't give them any room to breathe. And when they did that, they'd step back inside and there'd be 3 back rowers swallowing them up. But I just sort of, from a romantics perspective, that Reece carry turnover, that Dan Edwards drop goal, and that Aaron Wainwright carry, they're just like, they're such euphoric moments where, okay, Wayno scores, the whole crowd, it's like, oh, we're back. And then that drop goal, oh, we're back. And then Carey just throws that guy down and turns him over. You're like, they're such massive moments. And whether Wales can kick on, I don't know. Whether
look, Tandy was obviously, he was Lions defense coach at one point, right? The tour before last.
Yeah.
So
COVID tour.
And you can imagine that, like, that to implement a defensive system and to pull on the heartstrings and the passion. Okay, that's one thing. The attack's always going to be the hardest, right? Like we were chatting about the attack stats. Kick the most, but retain the least.
Yeah.
Carried the least. But then tackle-wise, Alex Mann, Dad Jenkins, top 2 tacklers, right?
Yeah.
There's the spine of Darry Lake, Dav Jenkins, Wainwright, Thomas Williams. It is starting to build, right?
Yeah.
Attack-wise,
still blunt for now.
If you could take Italy's attack against, Scotland, for example, or even how they played in other games, and then take your defense in that is like such a good little combo, right? But I mean, you nullified Menicello and Brex.
No, I think the one thing that Wales did well is that I saw the statistic earlier, was that our ability to retain attacking kicks, or even to win the kicking battle in an attacking form, we've won 2 the whole tournament. But we were still doing it the whole game until last week.
Yeah.
So if you're, 2 successful attempts at regathering an attacking kick, stop fucking doing it. It's not working, right? And I think a bit of a coming of age of Ellis Mee as well. I still think he'll be a fullback in the long term. He does remind me of Liam Williams, the way that he plays, but a few defensive moments that were great. It's a shame that I saw Zamet had the most meters the whole tournament, but, he's standing so far deep. He's having such a long run up. How many of them are sort of post-contact meters?
And he doesn't really have a kicking game.
I don't know. He had a few decent, but again, he's not a fullback. In my opinion, he's not a fullback. I think he will go back to the wing. But as a Wales fan, we end on a high. And the fact that Dewi Lake finally got a winning post-match, that guy just seems like a salt of the earth Welshman. Yeah. And it meant so much to us and to him.
And look, if you have to put it down to one thing, right? Obviously, that was a couple of Six Nations now without a win. And this year, I visited Cardiff.
Right.
I went to the Principality. I stood up for the national anthem. Wales come away with a win.
So it was you.
You and your father are welcome.
Thanks very much. I'll pass on my regards from my dad.
Right, and we can end the Six Nations chat there, and we can move.
No. Let's get to Le Crunch. Let's get, for those with 20/20 vision that could manage to tell the difference between France and England.
Let's start with that, because that jersey is phenomenal.
Oh, it's a sexy bit of kit.
And the Paris on an evening kickoff.
Yeah.
And I listen, I don't know what was happening before the game. Horses on the pitch, and it was a war, but then there was a mini rugby match going on. Whatever. Bizarre. It looked incredible. So obviously, ITV were doing adverts, and I saw it, but like in the stadium, it looked incredible.
Yeah.
The game starts, and the first thing, I'm sitting there, like changing my eyes and changing. I think it was either Squid Rugby or someone on Twitter was like, if you put the contrast down low enough, you can tell the difference. I was looking at the fucking socks. I was like, who? And I saw you mentioned it, right? you say to Wales and Ireland, hold on a second, lads, we've got a colourblind issue here. Fair enough, right? Totally accept it as well.
2.1% of people that are green, red,
Fair.
colorblind.
There's worse things in the world that gets happened over this, right? I was like, okay, but this was a piss take.
Yeah. Well, I thought the away team had to change their gear.
Can I blame this now?
No, you can't.
Man.
Look, I still want that jersey though. Adidas Rugby, hook us up with some French gear.
The whole lifestyle range.
It's banging.
And just to keep changing the subject, the All Blacks have just released.
I saw that.
So fair play to Adidas, like making moves. And it's great, right? It's what we want. We want rugby to be a little bit more of a lifestyle brand. And there's loads of people, whether it's Old Novo or whether it's the RB Club, like there's a good few people, Rugby Culture we've been chatting to as well.
Yeah.
Who, he's a player himself. There's loads of people now trying to get into this rugby lifestyle brand as such.
Fun fact for you, which people can fact check me on. If you go onto your web browser and type in rugby.com, just rugby.com, and see who pops up, it's Ralph Lauren. They own rugby.com because the rugby jersey is a fashion accessory. It's a fashion statement. And I think I had this conversation in the summer with one of the execs at the URC. It's such an easy win. Like not everyone's going to wear a match-worn jersey to the stadium, but rugby gear is such a fashion accessory. It's such a nice thing. We're a bit late to the party, but it's really catching fire, and France have smashed it.
And the longer we spend not talking about England.
So the game, most importantly, the game. I personally think that was a lifeline for Steve Borthwick. Up to you. I mean, I'm not sure you agree, but I think there was definitely a, sod it, boys. You have to show that we can actually play a bit.
We played.
Yeah.
Like, look, Chesham.
Yeah.
I said last week, play a 6. You want to talk about balance of a back row. You can't play 3 7s in the back row.
Yeah.
Right? Chesham is a shut the fuck up and give me that ball.
Yeah, dog.
So much so that when he did break the line, everyone online was like, get it under the sticks a little bit more. And obviously, look, the reality is when you look at just scoreboard, Thomas Ramos was kicking, Marcus Smith came on and ended up kicking at the end, right? But Ramos kicking is the game changer in that. There's loads of these little moments that someone put about Sir Clive about win these moments, win these clear head moments, right? I mean, if I was playing 6 and I was a big gingerhead lump and I got through, I'd probably be giving it the finger to the sky as well, right? But he was I thought Maro also had another good game, right? So Finn Smith, I thought did really well. I think these players turned up, but then it's still the moments. Now, again, I think if you play that game another 5 times, that scoreline doesn't happen, right? That's 2 weekends in a row that a Sean Edwards defence has shipped 40 or 50 last week and then another 30 plus this week. That's unheard of, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. But the game itself, what else could you want?
Yeah.
The lead changed hands. There's drama. There's controversy. There's a little bit of niggle. There's Pollock giving it some. He come up on the big screen and boot. I love that, right?
Yeah.
There's the last kick of the fucking game.
Wow, last kick of the tournament. Look, it was definitely enough drama, that's for sure. But I still think there wasn't enough niggle. I'm saying that because Ollie Chesham, I think they should give Ollie Chesham the England captaincy now. Let him run with it. Again, Maro had probably his last 2 games for England have been his 2 best games in a long time. But as far as a emotional leader or a spiritual leader, you're not going to follow him into battle. And you see Chesham, obviously complexion helps as well, but he's boiling red. All right, that guy is, I can get behind him.
He's Leicester captain now as well.
But he's just that to your point earlier, to have him as a dog.
Yeah.
And I'd say he's probably on the right side of the law more than Maro is. He's a bit more composed in those situations, and he's just, I can imagine getting behind him. He's full noise, full effort, and he provides a much needed balance in that pack. But my shout for player of the tournament before the tournament started was Ben Earl, and I do think he has been class. But there was a moment in the first 20 when he carried the ball in and he cops a knee. Do you see it? Oh, it was gross. He drops down and it hits him and it just pops. I mean, as far as like a graphic representation, and that's a sort of a glancing blow.
Mate, I was watching it with
Grim.
some football fans, right? And they were saying the kind of the joke came up about football's at 90 minutes of pretending you're injured. And in rugby, it's 80 minutes pretending you're not injured. And if you take Tyg Burn and Benell this
Yeah.
weekend and you're like, blood, pff, get me on. Underhill last week was the same.
Did
He was
Benell
like,
go off? I don't think he did.
he just got taped up.
That is crazy.
So I stole a stat. Shout out to Tim and the Egg Chasers boys, right? I'm gonna read you the worst record as a coach I can think of, right? And this is where, like, you know, we talk about the Scotland. I talk about the Scotland mentality against big teams. Steve Borthwick's record, right, at the moment stands at 26 wins in 43, 60-ish%, right? Listen to the top 7. SA or South Africa, 0 from 2. New Zealand, 1 from 4. France, 1 from 4. Ireland, 1 from 4. Marcus Smith, drop goal. Scotland, 1 from 4. Australia, 1 from 2. And the only saving grace that's helping the percentage is Argentina, 5 from 5, right?
Oh, yeah.
So now, against the bigger teams, and all right, World Cup semi-final, and, you know, but England haven't won a Six Nations in donks. Haven't won a Grand Slam in 10 years. Worst Six Nations ever.
Yeah.
First loss to Fiji.
Yeah.
First loss to Italy.
He's breaking some records.
Someone has to break these records, right? But again, I don't think they get rid of him now because, and again, I think they made this mistake with him anyway, right? He came in before World Cup, but was given such a long contract, it was always going to go after. If you're going to do anything, at the World Cup, we review and then we go for the next cycle. So if you bring someone in now, you've got 2 options. Do you just give him the World Cup, or do you bank on someone that you're going to go, right, I also want you post the World Cup, regardless of what happens? It's a lose-lose situation. But again, you can't just write off a World Cup now. Yeah. So is that enough that England have gone, right, shit happens. We've got South Africa next. Wow. But, okay, you've got to learn from this now. And there is enough talent in that team, right? There is central contracts in that team now that, you know, he's got everything at his disposal. And I can list off another 5-6 players that can come in that will add value to that team, right? Be it a Faye Boso or George Furbank.
They're injured. It's not his fault.
But they'll be back. But what I'm saying is they'll be back, right? So I'm like, okay, you can't get rid of him now.
Look, again, financially, you can't get rid of him. Also, I think it's a game of fine margins. And they've, you know, realistically, of those results you just listed out, they weren't getting spanked in those games.
Well, the New Zealand ones, the last year's summer tour, whatever it was, you know, you're talking about 1 or 2 point games.
Exactly.
Jamie George was there.
So you're probably 20 minutes collectively from being the greatest coach in English history, you know, and that's where
that's the margin, though, isn't it?
But that's where, you know, sliding doors moments in sports can be a bit damning for people like Steve Borthwick. I think the hardest thing for England is that you don't know their game. You still can't really identify what their
shit.
Yeah, it's shit. But what is their playing personality? Whereas, look, you know, sod England, France.
Well, yeah.
Let's look at France. I mean, the fact that you look at them now, the age profile of their team as well, and I mean, LBB is just. I mean, you called it top try scorer. I don't know. Yeah.
I reckon he's gonna break. Well, he'll break all. I mean, Pinot's the top try scorer for France, right?
What's BB on now?
For France?
Yeah. 27 and 25 or
so
something.
He's on 27. So I've got it here. 27 and 22 this season. Six Nations this year, 9 in 5.
That's just
17 in his last 10 Six Nations.
Yeah.
Because last year he hit a record at 8. So he broke that. So 18 for the Six Nations. Bod is leading at 26.
Yeah, that's just insane.
LBB's 22.
But credit where it's due. I mean, I remember you saying earlier, what was it, that he scored a hat trick and didn't beat a player?
He scored 4 tries against England.
Yeah.
And he didn't beat one player in it, like as a stat. Now, that kick behind, obviously you saw England use the kick behind as well, right? And again, it got me thinking about fullbacks now becoming that second playmaker, right? So, you know, we always talk about like the Faz Ford 10-12. But now you've got the fullback as the playmaker, and someone like Ramos you class him as one of the best fullbacks in the world, right? And same as Mackenzie when he plays there, or Barrett when he plays there. Defensively, though, and even wingers nowadays, like I can't name a top defending back three player off the top of my head. I'd have to really think about it. And there's moments, right? Like one-on-one, Colby's a good defender and he's strong, and there's a couple in New Zealand playing, but as a defender, that kick behind, and especially if you've got everyone pushing up, like we were saying, like Josh Adams shutting down the 13 channel, and Reece Zammit behind, the kick in's an option, and Ramos kicked both feet, Jalabert both feet. It was just unbelievable.
But generally speaking, and this would be a big thing about sort of the risk reward of certain plays. Wales used to do it all the time. Get to 13, kick it down the back, and the chance of picking up the crumbs there is quite high. But I think that the innovation that we've seen in the last 2 years, and maybe it started with Rassi and now France have really taken it, is that, and a lot of defensive teams haven't caught up, is that when they're blasting you through the middle, quick ball, quick ball, quick ball, quick ball, and your winger bites on that and then comes in, when you've got people that are literally lightning fast, that space is always there. And I think this tournament has been the tournament of that. The amount of tries that we've seen from that dink into the corner, Ireland do it with a crossfield all the time. France are doing it with the little dinks all the time. This will be, defensive systems will now change, but you always have this purple patch for innovation. And I think France deservedly are the champions. They were the best team the whole tournament, and apart from a bit of a hiccup against Scotland, and Scotland having probably the game of their lives. Yeah, I mean, I called France to win. Obviously, I called France-England to be game of the tournament.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Okay, sorry.
So two last things. Let me read you this age profile, right? Now, considering no Intermac, Aldrit, Fiku, Pinot, Legaric, Winnie Antonio, right? All there or thereabouts starting 23.
Yeah.
The age profile at the moment, Atasogbe, 21, LBB, 22, Nene, who came on against you, 21, Deportier, 23, Kevin GR, 20, FBB, 20, Gallion, 22, Legaric, 23, Jegu, 22, Gouliard, 25, Gross, 26, Paolo Tuilagi didn't even play, right? 21. And 2 years in a row now, they've done the double. The under-20s have just won a Grand Slam.
Yeah.
What on earth are we saying for the next 4, 6, 8 years now with an aging profile of everyone else?
Yeah.
And they've just gone, oh, we didn't need to send the first team to New Zealand. Let me give all of these boys, because that's the squad that went to New Zealand that everyone criticised, right? And then for the first round of this Nations Champ, which we'll get to, they've got top 14 final. So again, they're going to send more.
But this is we said this last week, this sitting in the shade of a tree that was planted a long time ago. France are now bearing the fruits of a generation's worth of investment in Pro D2, pathways, academies, and they're the model. Then we say all the time, it's Argentina the model, Italy the model, France is the model.
And quote of the whole tournament.
Go on.
Goes to Sean Edwards.
7 now, by the way.
And just by the way, although if you take the last 2 weeks, his job's probably a little bit like, hey.
France, most dominant tackles in the tournament, right? By a distance as well.
By almost double.
The 90-odd was there. The stats can tell a story, but they don't tell the whole story. And, Sean Edwards is the GOAT. Defensive coach. Every player will say the same thing. Every player that's been coached by Sean Edwards, they'll always say Sean Edwards. Yeah. Are we talking about Pollock? Nah, let's move on.
We have to.
No, I think Pollock is hard done by. Yeah, he spanned the ball, but that was a turnover that he won. And now they're giving him shit because he did all this and all this at the crowd. Fuck it, let him do it. I hope he keeps doing it. But there's a distinct contrast between LBB and him. And there's probably 12 months, 9 months between them age-wise. And we probably, what is the right formula? Is he backing it up at the moment?
Can I give you an example of what I think will happen, right? As much as I do have a genuine, I'm going to say, hatred for Saracens.
Wow.
When Noah came through, right? When Noah Clory come through, and we've seen it with multiple young players at Saracens, the people at Saracens, be it Mark McCall or Faz or Jamie, the ability to get someone and go, look, like Noah Clory says this about Faz. He went to training. Faz gave him shit from day one. Whereas at Northampton, as good as they are, it is their friend group. They're all young lads growing up together, which has its perks, right? But who at Northampton, now Courtney's not there, right? Who's going to just get them and go, lads, just give it one fucking minute and see what happens, right? And I think that's the only difference. I think Pollock is, I said this a couple of weeks ago, right? When you dropped me in it with the whole top 5 Pollocks.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's going to be one of the best players in the world. I think he's got everything from a mentality point of view, the confidence. His family were all athletes in multiple different disciplines. He's clearly athletically gifted in the gym, on the pitch. He knows rugby. He makes supporting runs like scrum halves do, and then tackles like a good back rower. I think he needs moments to fuck up.
No, but
I'm not saying he fucked up.
He did fuck up, but he got the turnover. My point is, the personality thing. LBB plays on the wing. With the greatest respects, it's a completely different fucking sport. Playing on the wing to playing in the back row, international level. The amount of moments you can fuck up are less. And for Pollock, I hope it just doesn't deter him. I don't think it will.
I don't think it would.
And the guys that are all egging him on, let him fucking egg him on. I hope everyone does it. I hope everyone says every week, you know what, F Wales, F France, F I'm going to do this. And if they screw it up, as long as they get back on the horse next week, I couldn't care less. He's the man.
Well, look, I wrote us a little bit of a wrap up.
Okay.
Just to understand what we've just watched.
That was a long review. That was a long breakdown. So I see.
So this year, Wales beat Italy, who beat Scotland, who beat France, who beat Ireland, who beat England, who beat Wales.
Right.
The most competitive time, right?
Show the clip. 40, episode 1. Everybody will beat everybody.
Nearly 1 million people in the stadiums.
Wow.
Averaging 66,000 per match.
Wow.
Rugby's in a good place, right?
Alive and well.
Hashtag Super Rugby, the most tries ever scored in a Six Nations.
211, was it?
111, 200. Averaging 7.4 a game, right? One fallow week, we love.
Yeah.
As a fan, love it. But
agreed.
We mentioned kind of downside. Thursday night opener.
Hated it, but go on.
Ditch it. First Friday night in Dublin, which for next year they've already done again.
Okay.
Get me there on a Friday night. Holly Davison, first woman to referee.
Smashed it.
Couple of down moments. The Adogbu abuse that he took online, we mentioned.
Yeah.
Wales' lowest ever attendance against France in the Six Nations.
Yeah.
Still 57,000. France, most points in a loss when they lost against Scotland, only to then beat by England the week after. Italy's first win in 32 attempts over England. Wales' first win in 16 games in the Six Nations. LBB, the second player to score 4 in a game. You know who the other one was?
Josh Lucy.
Ashton. Good shout, though. He's now joint 5th top try scorer with 18. France equaled last year's most tries with 30. England's worst ever finish. And England just beating Wales to the discipline award. Wales got 7 yellow cards.
In the first couple of games as well.
England.
That changed the corner the last 2 games.
8 yellows, 1 red.
That's shocking.
And then the other moment, Piardi getting injured.
Oh, yeah, the hammy gate.
What a 6 weeks.
Look, my only hope, and this is sort of a call out to sort of rugby in general, I just hope that this is a catalyst for a knock-on effect to the clubs. Now you've got the domestic leagues. Now you've got knockout rugby coming up in the Prem, in the URC. And really, like, those players are playing week in, week out in the domestic game. And I just feel there's so much emphasis on the Six Nations, and it is amazing. But now you really want those fans, those million people that went to these games, you need those million people watching the club game. Because really, that's the only way that we're going to be able to invest more in the international game. And the URC is great, man. Like it is. The Prem Rugby is such a high quality product. Super Rugby, we're seeing it now every weekend. And yeah, you million people that went live and the tens of millions that watched it on TV, get behind your home club, because that's really what it's all
What
about.
I would say is Prem specifically next week, they're doing their own little Super Saturday. 3 games, one after each other.
Right.
All televised. You've got Bristol playing your neck of the woods.
at the Millennium
They're
Stadium.
playing at Principality. You've got the Ed Slater Cup at Villa Park.
Leicester Gloucester.
And then you've got the Sarri Showdown at Tottenham.
Wow.
So you've got three massive, that's 3 out of 5 games basically, right? In the Prem. Go into giant stadiums, 2 footy stadiums.
Yeah.
You know, Sarri's is on, Showdown 7 or 8 now? You know, Bristol are now taking games abroad now. Or I say abroad.
Abroad.
Biggest
20 minutes left.
Up the road.
Get behind your club teams. That's
good,
all I'm
man.
saying.
Well, look, let's quickly wrap up with Six Nations.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into all the others. Team of the tournament.
Right.
We've
Quick fire.
already put it out, but there's a couple that we can argue about. Number 1, I don't think there's any shout. Reece Carey.
Closed book.
Yeah,
Done.
like just...
And superstar. Breakout superstar.
Yeah. Hooker. Darry Lake's been fantastic, right? But Dan Sheehan is arguably still one of the best hookers in the world. And I think he showed that class no more against than Scotland. I didn't even see when he broke out of that maul.
Pure talent, pure contribution-wise, Sheehan. Emotional-wise, Dewi.
Yep. Other prop, Ferrari was fantastic. Gutted that he weren't obviously in that last one.
There's nobody else. Only Ferrari.
What I would say is shout to Joe Hayes. He's not a limelight player, but just does his job. And England's scrum was probably the best thing about their game.
Yeah, I definitely put Xander Ferguson over Hayes.
Yeah. Second row, look, we went for Olivon. Simply, and again, if you look at, I said this in week 2, to go from back row to second row, not the other way around, incredible, right? Like,
he's a big back row.
Yeah.
Daft Jenkins, for me, shout out.
Yeah, and then
unbelievable.
The other side, Tyke Byrne was just one of the players of the tournament.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gouliard as well. Gouliard made team of the tournament last year.
Yeah.
Yep, and still young. Back row, Jack Conan. Obviously, Lamara was fantastic, but Jack Conan at 6, I'm telling you, one of the most underrated players.
Yeah.
On the ball, off the ball, both sides, defensively, attacking. Man, just pure. You want to talk about like what you lot have got with that pure grunt? He is, and he's a double lion.
I'll go Lamaro.
Yeah. 7 and 8's an interesting one because obviously he's quite interchangeable. But Benel, Rory Darge, shout out Dempsey as well. Lorenzo Canone, his brother Nick was also banging in second row. And then Wainwright, Doris, L.
Yeah, yeah, my dad gave me a bit of shit for saying that Dempsey was better than Wayno.
Yeah, that's...
I know, fucking hell. But look, I would go Wayno. For 8 of the tournament, I'd go Wayno.
I think the backs are
easier, straightforward.
And I think there was a stat for Wales that out of all of your tries, 1 or 2 were the backs, everything else was forwards.
Makes sense.
Gibson Park, probably especially in recent times, best I've seen him play in a green shirt.
Yeah,
but
Sean Dupont.
He did, but there was still them moments from Dupont.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, and again, I was listening to everyone talk about the whole Jalabert Entomac thing. Jalabert had so much ball. He looked great. It kind of took the limelight off Dupont. And then you've also got Ramos doing what he was doing. And LBB
JGP.
doing... Yeah.
Just go
Dupont,
with JGP. As far as consistency over 5 games, Gibson Park never had a down moment.
Shout out Jalabert.
Yeah. Had a game off, though.
Got injured and they put Ramos there.
Yeah, saying that a game off.
Like, man, he was fantastic. Obviously, LBB one side. Other side, we went with Balakoon. Obviously, rising star, but Carl Stein got 2 man of the matches.
Yeah, Carl Stein was good. Adesogbe quietly went about his business. I think Kyle Stein, as far as a sort of an unknown, relatively, I think he came out looking all the drama about Van der Merwe not being picked. Managed to find another Safa to fill his boots.
Well, there you go. And then in the middle, we went with Melancello. But the reality is he could probably shift to 13 and Big Fridge, Stuart McCloskey going at 12.
Yeah, I think McCloskey was fantastic, but Melancello at times was the best 12 in the world.
Yeah.
So that's a very good battle. But
I just let them 2 play. Like, we went with Hugh. I would also shout, I think Freeman has shown how good he is.
Yeah.
Like,
class.
Even when he was picked for Lions, like everyone was like, well, he's come off this amazing scoring record last year. But at 13, that could be it.
Yeah. I think Ignacio Brex is hard to be looked over as well. Mate, centers. This was the Six Nations for centers. They were all brilliant.
And then obviously at the back, no one else to talk about.
Reece Carey on the wing.
Hey,
prop, sorry.
Well, look, Six Nations was great.
Sure was.
I obviously watched a lot of other rugby, right? And I know that we've kind of gone on a bit, so we'll keep this one short. But last night, Rugby Europe Championship, and we'll get to it with our home and away. Doing a 4-match sequence. They used 2 stadiums, right? So they had the 7th place playoff and the 5th place playoff in Madrid still, and then they had the 3rd and 4th place and obviously the championship. Georgia in this competition, right, have won the last 9.
Right.
And obviously year after year, it was the whole relegation talk, and there's a lot to be said about how this has all happened. But for Portugal, who probably underperformed last year, off the back of a great World Cup.
Since the World Cup, yeah.
Right. To them to win this game last night it's just incredible for the sport, you know, like, and I think Tier 2 rugby's in quite a funny position because like the gap is getting bigger.
Yeah.
And Portugal played and bang average Irish aid side.
Got spanked.
106 to 7. So to go and win against Georgia is huge.
Kudos to them. I mean, yeah, they were the biggest shock. World Cup, they were the surprise package. Then they became crap in the year that followed. And yeah, told you before, competitive second tier is what will make the sport really global. And even the production value of Rugby Europe is class as well, by the way. Shout out to Rugby Europe. They're doing a great job in actually getting the product in front of enough eyeballs.
All games live and free.
So good. But
URC, a couple of moments.
Dead rubbers, right?
A terrible red card.
Yeah, my God.
Like off kickoff as well. And we've said about this challenge in the air, but this one was just...
That was one of the worst tackles in the air I've ever seen. He'd committed to that from pre-kickoff. He'd just come off the bench. Yes, URC 2, so I mean, Edinburgh fell apart, right? Like that was a shocker to me. They were 19 all, then just fell to pieces. Scarlets stripped naked over there. Welsh players always going to struggle. But yeah, 2-0 games really. All respects to the URC.
And then the other game that obviously was on before the Six Nations was Bulls versus Stormers. Now again, it was an okay match, but one thing I do want to just quickly mention: Pollard, since he's gone to the Bulls, has been crap.
Yeah, he is sort of Samson minus the hair, right?
It's actually unbelievable how much. And we saw what he did for Leicester. He was great, and obviously we've seen what he's done for the Box. But you know, I heard everyone after this Ramos talk, after the Ramos kick, everyone was like, "Oh, you know, I'd still want Pollard to take it." Man, Pollard's been
bang
crap.
Average. Yeah, bang average. Yeah, dips in form of real. It happens, but Pollard's still Pollard. He'll still be there and thereabouts. He's still the general. But he has been very, very underwhelming.
A couple of moments in Super Rugby as well. The Drua won again.
By the way, Brumbies. Okay, thing about the Drua is when the typhoon hits Fiji, which
always happens in a match.
Yeah, which always happens. Those boys, something happens in them, the mana inside them clicks in, and they're playing in the park with the boys.
Yeah.
They're so good to watch in the rain.
It's unbelievable how like weather changes in the space of a match.
Yeah. If you don't like the weather, just wait 10 minutes.
And then massive Australian derby.
Yeah.
The Tars versus the Reds. Kick-started my morning.
Yeah.
But oh my God, moment of the match.
The greatest try that never was.
God, and it was such a good back and forward game.
Yeah.
But like the Tars have put it out, right? He's obviously done this absolutely incredible diving finish.
It's amazing.
And you've got the TMO finding a reason to not give this fucking try. The finish was that good. Just shut up and give it. Just let us play. Oh my God.
Me and you text each other at the same time saying, just give it, you so-and-so. So 4-letter word. Yeah, that sucked big time. But, you know, the Reds came up with the goods. I thought Carter Gordon was pretty...
That try that Gordon scored
on the outside
justifies bringing him back.
That's some pace from a 10, by the way. That's Harry Potter that he did on the outside.
Yeah, and look, we've got a piece coming out this week about the NRL games and the NRL players that have come over. Obviously, Lomax has just made a big signing for the Force as well, which is a real random one. Like, I don't know if that's Rugby Australia going, how do we balance this shit, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Ben Donaldson, to be fair to him, is still top point scorer in the Super Rugby, right? In arguably one of the worst teams at the moment.
Yeah.
But Carter Gordon looks As good as, I mean, obviously he had a terrible injury last year.
Yeah.
But fucking it, what a finish.
Amazing. From a 10, that's amazing.
Yeah, and look, we said about everyone can beat everyone. 5 teams are on 3 wins at the top, and everyone's already lost once.
Yeah. No, Super Rugby, it's still, as advertised, an incredibly entertaining product. But the game of the weekend, not for the weather conditions, but just for the spectacle of it, was Fiji. The Drua boys coming up trumps against the Brumbies, who undefeated until last week. Now they're 2 losses in the books.
And the last thing I would say on domestic rugby at the moment, the top try scorer in Japan,
Brodie
Retallick, scored again.
Yeah.
He's now on 12 in 11 games, and he's averaging 69 minutes a game.
Look, I don't mean to speak ill of Japan League One, because it is actually quite entertaining, but he does look like that kid that went through puberty first.
Yeah.
When we were playing schoolboy rugby, he's so much bigger than everybody. But was he 34?
God, I mean, look, I don't think he's...
Give him a World Cup. Go on. Give him one more.
Do you put him in the squad just to say that little bit extra experience?
Come on, Guzzy, get in there.
Yeah, look, I think it's funny because everyone was talking about LBB, right? Just kick the ball and let him chase it. Man, Brodie's the same. Just give him that ball and go.
Yeah. 34 is nothing for a second row. Get him back in. Got 4 more years in his tank.
Elsewhere, Leicester won the Prem Rugby Club. Well done. Look, that was a great weekend of rugby.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many games I've watched and how many highlights I've watched, right? But the fucking sport is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I said my only hope is that the product is so good at the moment, but for some reason, it's not growing.
Yeah.
So we can paint it however we want to paint it. The product is really good. And I can't imagine even a neutral. I saw Eddie Hearn was at the Wales game and he watched it. And even he was like, how do people not get behind this game? It's got everything you want, the drama, the physicality, everything about it. But really, the people running rugby are holding it back. And it's, it breaks my heart that it's not the biggest game in the world. At least it is to us. But let's hope it kicks on from strength to strength. We've got a 2-year window now to the World Cup. Nations Cup coming up. Let's hope this is the start of our golden era.
Well, look, talking about growing the game, this week we've got something a little bit different. For our All Things Rugby Home and Away, we're actually going to show you Rugby Europe's advertisement of their finals day in Madrid. Now, as a tier 2 competition, you know, they do have similar struggles, but it is just amplified, right? Lack of funding, lack of resources. You've got so many teams that are not full-time, and they put on an absolute show in Madrid. And across our socials, we had, you know, the boys from Rugby Through the League there and Game Bites there. Oh my God, what a day out. So over to Rugby Europe and into Madrid.
Welcome, bienvenidos to One Time Botarque, where the Men's Rugby Europe Championship finals are going to be played. Everything is getting set and ready for a big showdown tomorrow between Romania and Spain for the bronze final, and also Portugal versus Georgia for the finals. But don't forget that in the Estádio Central Complutense, another 4 teams are going to be playing in it. Germany and Netherlands for the 7th and 8th place playoff, while Belgium and Switzerland will fight for the 5th place playoff. So, are you ready to what's going to be one of the biggest rugby parties of the year? So, here's the mix zone where the media is going to interview the players of the bronze and the final. So, are you wondering where the teams are going to get ready for the final? Then follow me and I'll show you the changing room. We are here at Clube Deportivo Leganés changing room, where Portugal and Georgia are going to get ready for the final time after 4 intense rounds of the Men's Rugby Europe Championship 2026. So after a sneak peek, it's time for you to head on and acquire the match day passes so you can watch these 4 great games. 2 going to play in the Central and 2 here at the Clube Deportivo Leganés grounds. So we have a fully set fan zone for all coming to the finals, from good beverage to live music. You can bring your family so kids can play a bit rugby before the finals or after. So be sure to check here in Leganés. Portugal and Georgia are going to tussle and wrestle for the chance to be crowned champions. Will the Lelos keep the cup, or the Lobos are going to retake it for the first time in almost 20 years?
So obviously Madrid, a wicked city anyway.
Yeah.
But EPCR final this year, Bilbao as well. So look, we're saying about growing the game. Spain cannot be slept on. Like, the Division de Honor is growing. They've got more people going to games. I know Carl and the team are trying to cover that as much as possible as well. But I feel like that Spanish domestic and the same as the Italian domestic league, like, they're two leagues that are, you know, we're chatting to them about how much coverage we can help as well. It is growing.
Look, EPCR final weekend, I know tickets are going well, but that finals weekend is a good advertisement for rugby as well, that sort of Friday and Saturday night. So if you haven't got your tickets already, be sure to get them. And it's, no matter where it's hosted, it's a cracking weekend, but Bilbao, something a bit different.
I've not been to Bilbao.
Yet. You haven't been to Bilbao yet.
Madrid, Barca done. So yeah, Bilbao's going to be the next one.
Yeah, nice.
Right, well, look, as I said, jump over to our socials because we had loads of clips that the guys shared with us. But let's move on to our next bit, our Auckland Rugby socials of the week.
Right.
A little bit of an interesting one because, again, there was so much happening that it would have been easy for us to just stick with the Six Nations.
Right.
But this weekend, back to the Premiership, we've got the newly named Alfie Barbary Cup.
Right.
Bath are going to play Saracens.
Yeah.
And our first video this week is the one and only Rigosaurus, Alfie Barbary, in his new collab with Budgie Smuggler.
People say success changes you. Custom budgets do. The sense of freedom you don't get with other bockies. Before, no trophies, no success. Now, treble winner, Premiership, Prem Cup and Challenge Cup. 3 medals around my neck, and the plan is celebrating a little boy's outfit of choice, his jeans, t-shirt, mine, a pair of budgies and a nice crisp pair of loafers. It's incredible. And I've got budgies to thank for it. And they look great.
Yeah, look, I mean, does that mean you've made it if you've got your own collaboration with a lifestyle brand like Budgie Smuggler? It's I remember they did a tournament like the world's most ordinary rig.
Yeah.
Remember that?
That was their campaign.
I'm not sure where Barbary ranked in that.
I think Barbary might have won it.
Maybe in the top 5. Hey, I love Alfie Barbary. Even like when he mentions about his 3 medals, like he's somebody that you want to be on the bus afterwards with.
Oh, yeah.
Gas. He's a good crack, but yeah, good for him.
Yeah. Well, look, talking about on the bus in South Africa, as much as we said about Polly not being great on the pitch, the balls on the side of the pitch this week, I've got a braai going.
Oh, right. No, I think
like,
I did.
Now we've seen it like at Lofters, and you know, shout out to the Sharks. They've obviously done their little party stand. We've seen hot tubs on the side of the pitch, but a guy sitting in front of security by the corner flag on the barbecue.
Does it get more South African than that? Having a braai, maybe a few, what are they called? Clippies and Coke?
I'm probably going to get shouted out for saying barbecue rather than braai, but this is...
Braai.
Yeah. And obviously we mentioned about on the pitch. We got sent a personal video from a can we say a pitch invader? He didn't get fined, so he didn't get caught.
Yeah, we won't call him out because he did break the law.
Yeah, and look, I watch a little bit of rugby league every now and then, but this one was tipped to be, if AJ hits his try, I think 2 tries in the game, top try scorer, and they put out a notice beforehand saying, if he gets it, do not go on the pitch, everyone will be fined. All of a sudden, the gates open, and it is absolute mayhem.
Carnage. Total carnage. And there's still time on the clock.
Yeah, they had to restart the game after. So they've gone into the changing room and come back out. But obviously, like, the clip itself was fantastic. And all the pictures that came, there was so many little moments of like security letting dads take it with their kids. The one I did see, the Aussie Prime Minister went on.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah, it says it all, really. No, NRL, it's a superpower in Australia, especially in certain parts of Australia. But you really did bait the fans when you go, whatever you do, don't come on the pitch. Yeah. But yeah, what a moment for that guy.
Yeah, look, and my last one of the week was from one side of the world to the other. We mentioned that the MLR is going to kick off in a couple of weeks. They're going to try and speed up the game, less TMO interventions. So to advertise that, their whole campaign has been around refereeing, and obviously the one and only Nigel Owens.
Who else?
But what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Let's show this one.
Since the dawn of Major League Rugby, we've all experienced TMO. The waiting, the silence. But in 2026, everything changes. Here's Nigel Owens in a bubble bath to explain.
Major League Rugby thinks it's time to make a change. For too long, the game has diluted the power of the referees, slowing down the pace of play. Major League Rugby is introducing the referee review system, putting the power back on the field. No more TMO. No more wasted play, stopping time. No more standing around. MLR, empowering the referee to referee. The on-field review system, new in 2026 and only with the MLR. Rugby as it should be.
Yeah, look, Nigel is, man, is there a more iconic referee in the last 20 years than Nigel Owens? No.
Has there been another referee that advertised him in a bath? No.
It's a bit of a wink and a nudge to the Big Short. They have Margot Robbie in the bath explaining how sort of shorting works. But MLR, I think one thing that's the one legacy thing from the R360 is that people are trying to innovate around the game. We had a conversation earlier about cricket and how you can really make quick adjustments to get more fans involved. We all want a faster game. MLR is a good litmus test or a petri dish for these things. So, yeah, getting Nigel behind it in a funny way, it's engaging. We all saw it. So, we got a few of our friends obviously work. Will Hooley's working on the MLR content as well. You need America. Whatever you can do to get it going, then fantastic.
Yeah. And obviously there was loads of other bits and bobs this week, but you obviously sent me one as well.
Yeah, look, we always said before about, we're not trying to own the content landscape for rugby, and we consume a lot of content ourselves. But one random one that popped up on my feed this week was Liam Messam on Between Two Beers, which is a couple of Kiwi boys that do a very famous podcast down south. And Liam Messam doesn't really do many interviews, hasn't done many interviews. And as a sort of quick pop for them, man, Liam Messam, his story is beautiful. Like, he's an adopted kid. His family, the parents that adopted him at a few weeks old. His dad was from Bristol. And the only reason that he even became adopted was because he heard a Bristolian accent across the fence. And it was this guy. And he talks about the values they instilled in him. He talks about the Chiefs' manner and about how playing for the Chiefs isn't just about playing rugby. It's about something bigger. He talks about, the title they won when Sonny Bill was there. But it is just, if you're a rugby fan, if you're a storytelling fan, it is really worth a listen. So get to Between Two Beers with the Kiwi boys and listen to Liam Messam's story. And you won't help but fall in love with the guy and what he stands for. It is really brilliant. Good,
man. Well, look, that's us being nice to everyone.
Right.
Let's jump into a little bit of our challenges. But this week, again, let's kind of wrap up Six Nations.
Yeah.
And let's piss everyone else off that we haven't already. So we're going to go through the teams.
Yeah.
And we're going to give them a ranking. We're going to just go very simple, 1 to 10, where we think they are right now.
Okay.
So, let's start at the top.
Start with France. Look, I think they're not in the 9s out of 10s they were when they beat New Zealand and played South Africa. You'd give them a solid 7, 7.5.
So you're giving the champions 7?
On a global scale or within Six Nations?
Nah, within Six Nations. Because this is, again, like, we can talk about the under-20s and the age profile and all this other stuff.
All right, give them an 8. I'll give them an 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Shipped 60-plus points over the lot.
Still got pumped in Scotland, so you can't give them a 10. Yeah, I think 8's fair. I mean, I think they're reinventing the game. I think they had some really great moments. They made great teams look bang average at times. But the Scotland game was a bit of a fall from grace.
Okay, second place, England's. Oh, no, that weren't us. Ireland.
Ireland, give them a 7.5, 7. Only because I thought they were sort of written off after the first game, and then they came through, and Ireland is nowhere to win. And I think that showed more than anything. And I think on their day, as cliche as that is, they can beat anyone.
Yeah. And I hate to say it because of how much abuse I get from my Irish mates, and some that aren't my mates, I still get abuse from. Man, they probably come out chest high.
Yeah, big time.
They were winning the competition until the last kick of the game.
Yeah.
When
I
you
agree.
put it like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Scotland.
Scotland, yeah. I mean, it's going to be in ascending order, right? Or descending order. Scotland,
That's the hard bit now.
apart from England. I mean, Scotland, I give them a 6.5. At times they looked, it's unfair. Scotland are just too inconsistent. At times they were 9, 10 out of 10. They looked unbelievable at times, but they just, apart from the England game where they kept that ferocity for 80 minutes, they just can't do it. They still got these huge lulls during their games. And yeah, until they fix that, they have the ability to be a world-class, world-beating team if they play like they play in the Calcutta Cup every game.
4th place, still not England's. Italy.
Italy, I'll give higher than Scotland.
This is where it gets difficult, right?
Yeah, I'll give Italy a 7, mainly because of where they've come from to where they're going, and they have a way that they play. And despite Wales dismantling that to a certain degree, they'll learn from that as well. I think they're a team on the up. They're a young team. The spine of their team's great, and yeah, I think good for them. Highest they've finished in a long time, and beating England, like their ascendancy is pretty clear.
But it's crazy though. If you take out that first half against you lot, because I think the second half was a pretty decent half, but you take out that first half compared to where they probably are finishing, that's where they've got to get together and go, right, we can kick on from here.
Yeah, I agree.
Rassie called it.
Yeah, he did. To be fair, Rassie again.
Right, 5th place, England.
England, I'll give a 5, only because they're on a downward trajectory, I think. I think the hardest thing for England is they haven't settled on a team or a way they play, or even the spine of their team. You know, who is playing 8, who is playing 9, who's playing 10, who's playing 12, who's playing 15, you know, who's playing hooker. You know, Jamie George is retiring in a year, but all of a sudden they're so dependent on him. You know, Maro, they're all kind of dwindling stars at the moment. Wales made them look far better than they actually are in the first game, and I think from that game onwards, they've looked a bit rudderless, I would say. So, a 5.
And then you lot, Wales.
Wales, yeah, I think we'd be the opposite of England. So we'd be someone that was perhaps rudderless in week 1, and then structure has come in, confidence has picked up. We look like we know how we're playing as a team. We are an annoying forward pack and a target-driven backline. I'd give us a 6 as far as the green shoots of it all. But I think we still need some cold-blooded finishers in our backline, in the back 3. And I think that will come from reshuffling me to fullback and Zam to the wing.
You've got a very tough summer.
Yeah. Travel-wise as well.
That's and again, we'll cover it at the end, but like, I hope that you somehow set realistic expectations now going into the summer. Because what you don't want to be doing is going into the summer going, no, we're world beaters here. Just be realistic with it. And I think you can just get another notch, you know?
I think the biggest thing in rugby now is you have to assess a 50-man squad and not a 15-man team. And I think Wales have the crux of a good 15-man team, but 50-man squad, we're really poor.
Even 23 is tough at the moment.
23 is tough. But I'm saying is that for the Nations Cup, realistically, you might have to send the Shags or might have to retain the Shags so you can't go from playing in Cardiff on Friday to playing in Argentina on Saturday. You guys have got it in Everton and then in Johannesburg within 6-day turnaround. Just physically, you can't do that to players. So, you know, Ireland have a great squad. You know, they have people in all positions. France do, but we don't. So that'll be interesting. Right, yours. So, Six Nations themed. We'll go quick fire just to cap off your understanding or your knowledge of the Six Nations. So, from this year's Six Nations, I want you to name the top 5 carriers of the entire tournament.
Benno.
Benno's number 1. So he had 94 carries. Crazy.
He's going to be sore.
And his head.
Number
2 will shock you, but go on.
Oh, I think I think there's going to be a back in there somewhere. I think Zam might be up there.
Zam is not in there, unfortunately. Think more
Right.
forwards. There's 2 backs and 2 forwards.
Right. Forwards, I'm going to go Doris.
Doris was 6th, just missed out. Think my star player from my team.
Wayno.
Aaron Wainwright's number 4 with 67 carries, and his captain is just after him.
Dowie.
Dewi Lake was 5th with 66 carries. You've got 2nd and 3rd left. Both are backs. One a back 3, one a Terminator 2.
So McCloskey.
McCloskey is 3rd with 74 carries, and number 2 will shock you to your core.
Back 3, most carries. Fucking hell. Who took the ball up that much?
Quick guess?
Ramos.
Thomas Ramos, 78 carries.
So top point scorer. Got some try assists. Won the championship. 3rd year in a row top point scorer as well. And on the carry list.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't know how much that came from him playing 10 against Italy, but still, just insane.
That's nuts. But Ben Earl.
Hey, Ben Earl, what a joy he is to watch. Right. So we'll go from attacking to defending. So let me just get my statistics. So, attacking to defending. Name the top 5 total tackles for this year's Six Nations.
Team or players?
Players.
So I know the top 2 are Mann and Jenks.
Number 1's Alex Mann, 87 tackles.
With 30 coming in one match.
Yeah, 32 in Ireland.
Jenks.
Number 2, Daffyd Jenkins, 84. Spoiler alert, there's no backs in this list. 3, 4, and 5.
I think Doris would be in there.
Caelan Doris is 3rd, 81 tackles. 4 and 5. A Scot and an Irish.
Dodge.
Rory Darge, smashing it. Number 4, 74 tackles. So you're on track for a clean sweep here if you can get number 5.
It would have been Dempsey if he played the other game as well.
Possibly.
Number 5.
Irish.
Oh, I was going to go Italy, so...
For a clean sweep.
Oh, he couldn't have been up there for tackles as well. Not Tyke Byrne.
Tyg motherfucking Byrne.
Man, he's got to be in the chat for player of the comp.
Tyg Byrne, 73 tackles.
And I think he was joint top for turnovers.
Yeah.
With 8 as well.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Like, what a boy.
Crazy.
There was a picture that came up of him holding his baby at the end, and it was like, I bet that baby's not even his. I bet he turned over that as well. Man, look, he, as someone that, even from a Lions point of view, right, and in quite an underperforming Munster team for a while, what a player.
Wild. He was playing 2nd division before the Scarlets.
Fucking, oh, you had to get a little claim in.
You're welcome, Ireland. Right, last 2 from me.
Go
Top
on.
5s. Top 5, this year's Six Nations, total meters made. So it's not post-contact meters, this is just meters.
Yeah, so I know Zam was up there.
Lewis Rees-Zammit was 1st, which shows how deep we play in Wales. He was 388 meters.
Dare I say LBB, just because of how many runaway tries as well?
LBB, Louis B. Barret, 3rd with 366 meters, which is wild. When you think he was running them in from all over the park, he was still 22 meters less than Zammit. A lot of French in this list.
Jalabert.
Jalibert's not on the list, unfortunately.
Really?
No.
It's because he dropped the game.
Think back 3.
Ramos.
Mr. Stats. Thomas Ramos was 2nd. 385 meters. 3 under Zam.
Oh,
Crazy. Yeah, crazy. You got an Italian and a Frenchman left. 4 and 5.
Menoncello.
Tommaso Menoncello, 363 meters, just 3 behind LBB, which is crazy as well. And just number 5.
Not Atasogbe.
Theo Atasogbe, 326.
France's stats for this competition.
Crazy. Kyle Stain just missed out by 10 meters. He was number 6.
And this is it, though. We're saying that realistically, Scotland, they weren't fantastic. And obviously, letting that many against England. The Italy game, probably undercooked.
Yeah.
Ireland, the opener, they were very good at.
Yeah. But it's hard. It's encouraging that the back 3 guys are making so many meters. It shows there's an open game being played. whereas in the past it'd be low meters, all the forward scoring. Right, last one. An easy one. I want you to name the top 5 try scorers.
Reece Carey.
In this Six Nations. Reece Carey. He was the most epic try scorer, but
LBB with 9.
LBB with 9 is number 1. Easy. Louis Bibarret, second year in a row, 9 tries. Stay where you are.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out the rest of them though. So Atasogbe got 4, 3?
Atasogbe got 5. He was second.
5.
Yeah. 3, 4, and 5 left. England, Scotland, and Ireland.
So Freeman, Balakoon, both on 3.
No and no.
No?
No and no. So number 3, England.
Who's England's top try scorer?
Think game 1, a couple of tap-ins, and then anonymous for the rest of the tournament. Red card.
Arundel.
Henry Arundel got 4 tries.
Fuck, he played.
Barely even played.
Oh my God, you want to talk about a fall from grace?
Number 4, Scottish.
Carstane.
No, think the trend of the scrum cap winger.
Darcy.
Darcy Graham, also 4 tries. And number 5 is Irish, also on 4 tries. Your shout earlier for breakout player.
Osborne.
Jamie Osborne, 4 tries. You were way off.
Man, it's funny because they're the ones I forgot about. Because I know, like you think Balakoon got Rising Player and got 3. Freeman still got 3.
Joint 6th, you had Reece Carey, Robert Balakoon, Tom Roebuck, Kyle Stain, and Tommy Freeman.
Reece Carey.
Reece Carey.
Unbelievable.
Breakout winger.
Unbelievable.
Right, that's your lot, mate.
Right, so a quick one for you. We're going to go through the top 6 again, through 6 teams again. I want you to take one player from another team and put them in that you think tomorrow make them a better player.
From another team playing Six Nations?
They had to have played this year.
Yeah.
France.
France to get a player from another team to be a game changer for them. Manoncello.
Yeah.
Some gun in the centre. I think centre's still up for grabs in French rugby. You mentioned Jonathan Danty and those guys. It would be a welcome.
4 fantastic players they played this year, and still there's a shout.
Yeah. France, you give them Manoncello. Everywhere else, they're pretty well equipped.
Ireland,
I think they're probably their only weakness at the moment. I mean, you'd say maybe Ferrari.
Yeah, front row's the one.
Ferrari, like their scrum is a bit creaky. Someone like Ferrari will do a job there.
Scotland then?
Scotland, man, I tell you what, Scotland is difficult.
It's hard because player for player, they were good.
They were really good, yeah. I mean, you'd argue maybe fullback. That's up for grabs. Blair Kinghorn, I think, is an unbelievable player, but it's kind of up for grabs. So maybe Tom Ramos going into 15 at Scotland could be a shout.
Italy?
It's
hard because pre-Wales, you'd say fine, but post-Wales, you're like, what happened?
I'd say probably Dupont. I'd say 9, they're missing, I think Garbisi's really come into some form, but at 9, they're kind of struggling. Chuck Dupont into Italy. Again, Chuck Dupont anywhere, but Italy, 9 would be up for grabs.
Dare I say who you'd put in England?
In England? Look, I think England is missing some leadership, eh? I wouldn't mind putting somebody in what is a very densely populated pack for England. I'd put someone like Dewi Lake there, or someone like Michele Lamoureux there, just for this talismanic, go on his shoulders. I think they would make a big difference. Everywhere else, I mean, you'd argue that you're 12 and 13, again, a Manoncello, Ignacio Brex, and put Freeman back to the wing.
Give me a McCloskey.
Oh, that's a good shot. I'll go with that.
Scrum. McCloskey would get,
Yeah, McCloskey's a shout for England. I like that.
And then for you lot?
For Wales, I would take an LBB. I've mentioned him on purpose. Having a stone cold winger that just finishes tries, we're missing that. And you look at our, LBB is pretty good in the air, even if it's the volleyball stuff. Louis Bibarret, but he'd be B.S. Barret, I guess, with how we spell it.
You got carried, don't worry about it. Right, now, last but not least, to wrap up our predictions.
From pre-tournament. How did we? I mean, we had a few bumps in the road, but how did we go?
Bumps. Listen, I feel like my abuse just got worked to a point where my Scottish mates were messaging me going, "Shut the fuck up, you're jinxing it." And I was like, "Yeah, man, I can't say I didn't."
The reverse Kramer. So we had top try scorer, player of the series, bottom top, best game, hot take, and then all of the score predictions.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, so from the score predictions, so top try scorer, you said LBB. I said James Lowe. Absolutely shocking. For player of the series, you said Freeman. I said Ben Earl. Hasn't been named yet, but it's not going to be either of those two. Bottom, I said Scotland. You said Wales. So that's 5 for you. Top, I said France. You said England. That's 5 for me. So they're all the big predictions, apart from best game. So, as producer Simon has informed me, after all the predictions that have come in, I currently stand on 21 points, and you are on 22 points. And the only decider is best game. I said it would be France v England. You said it would be Ireland v Scotland. And I think, and we can put this to the comments, but I think I get that one.
You fell asleep in the game. What are you talking about?
Only the first 10 minutes. It was late.
Yeah, look, I think that last game was everything a neutral probably wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And everything that, even an England fan, like, I was watching it going, this is a fucking great game of rugby.
Yeah. There were no real losers apart from England. They were the losers. That was game, for me, that was game of the tournament.
Yeah.
As far as wanting everything, drama, high score, everything, big moments. So essentially, scores on the boards are 40 gets 26 and Chenier gets 22. So the 2026 Six Nations predicted champion is, of course, yours truly.
Which means at some point you're going to see me dressed as our friend the dragon over here.
If anybody has any dragon fancy dress outfits that you can ship, please let us know. Get in touch and we'll arrange that delivery.
Just put it this way: if you organise anything and invite me, I'm wearing it.
You're there.
Right. Well, look, it's been a fantastic tournament, and it's been a cracking few weeks. Just chewing the fat with you, talking about it. Obviously, we're going into domestic this week. Then we're going into Europe again. And then we've got all of the knockouts and then the finals, which even if you're not a rugby fan, just the buzz around stadiums, the buzz around cities, if that local team gets there, we saw what happened with Northampton a couple of years ago when they won it with Bath with the treble. We've seen in the URC, like all of these away trips.
Yeah.
It's a wicked time to be involved.
Yeah, look, I hope this is the start of a golden era. You got 18 months now going through to the World Cup. Obviously, we're in loads of discussions with teams playing at the World Cup, loads of club teams that are playing domestically. You'll see all things rugby guys at all the home and away stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. And it's just, we're in such a fantastic place product-wise. And our goal is obviously to get our game in front of as many eyeballs as we can. The amount of rugby content creators that are there today that were even 2 years ago when we first started, it's overwhelming, the amount of people that are really reporting on the game. And for us, I'm looking forward to having more of these moments. And you got knockout rugby, you've got the Nations Cup starting. It's going to be a great time to be talking shit about rugby with one of your mates. So long may it continue.
Have I upgraded to talking rugby with a mate now?
Work colleague.
Right, well, look, for everyone who's watched and commented and sent abuse through, especially my DMs, thank you very much. For the guys, Smash Williams, who made us a meme.
Yeah.
For all the support that we've had, it's been, as I said, an incredible couple of weeks, an incredible championship. Shout out to the Six Nations as well. Like, the coverage was everywhere. Highlights was everywhere. The access they were giving people was great as well. So, yeah, look, the game's in a great place, as you said, and lots more to come.
Yeah. If you want to get involved, you want to get in touch, be sure to get into the comments on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on all of our channels. Click all our buttons, follow all of our content, and there'll be plenty more coming from Chenier and from myself and from all of the All Things Rugby journalists. Get onto allthingsrugby.com. Be sure to be engaging, interacting, and sharing with your mates. And we'll see you at Knockout Rugby. We'll see you at the Nations Championship. And there'll be a lot more to come from us.